Hello YouTube, it's March, and you know what that means? It's time for the February stats. Let's get on with it. In February, we generated a total of 319 kilowatt hours. That is more than double what we made in January. So this pie chart shows what proportion of that power came from each of my solar arrays. The Solax inverter provided 61% of the power. That's my biggest array, so that's what you'd expect. The Solax and the GrowWatt are both mounted on the roof. The GrowWatt 2 kilowatt array is wall mounted panels, so they're vertical, and that provided 24% of the power. And you can see, compared to January, that the vertical panels are making up a greater proportion of the total energy delivered. That's because the sun is now getting at a more optimum angle. There's less shadows being cast by my neighbour's house now onto the panels. So you can see that in January they made up 21% of the total mix, and now they're making up 24%. So this pie chart shows how much of that power we generated we managed to keep and how much we exported. So you can see that we managed to keep nearly 97% of all the energy we produced, meaning we've only exported about 3%. This is really, really good, and probably about as good as we can get. When you compare it to January, you'll see that it was about 8.5% exported. So we're doing a much better job this time, and I have made a few tweaks to my automation system, and I think that's probably responsible for that difference. So we've imported a total of 407.6 kilowatt hours for February. Now that's 200 kilowatt hours less than we imported in January, obviously because we're getting that much more solar generation now. We don't need to pull so much from the grid. That's a good thing. So the worst day for February was in fact the 1st of February, and you can see from the graph here that it must have been a very, very grey day. That is appalling. So it's probably not much more of a peak than about 300 watts all day. So yeah, not very good. The best day in February was on the 26th, and you can see that that must have been a perfectly blue sky day, no clouds at all. You've got lovely smooth curves, and the peak generation was just shy of 7 kilowatts. So yeah, a really, really good generation day. So if I overlay the best day with the worst day, you can really see the difference between a good day and a bad day. And if I overlay the best day of last month with the best day of this month, you can really see just how much of a difference just 1 month makes in terms of the amount of solar that we are producing. So does this tie up with your best and worst days? I live in the south of the country, but in other parts of the country maybe you had different days. Let me know in the comments. So in this sequence of graphs, one for each day of the month, you can see exactly how much energy we pulled from the grid. And you'll notice that pretty much all the time we're only taking energy from the grid between 12:30 and 4:30 in the morning, when it's at 5p a kilowatt hour. This is because we're charging up the house batteries, charging up the cars, running the dishwasher, those sort of things. And then we run the house off of those for the rest of the day. So you can see that for the rest of the day we're pulling virtually nothing from the grid at all. Doing this helps to keep my costs down because I only pay 5p a kilowatt hour for my electricity, but it also helps the national grid because I'm using electricity when no one else is, and I'm not using it when everyone else is. So it's a win-win. I would expect to be charging from the grid at night less and less, as we should be getting enough solar generation during the day for us to make it from day to day. But in the winter months it's a good option to have. And you can see that for the 27th and the 28th of February we didn't take any energy from the grid at all, so we're effectively off grid for 2 days. I expect this to happen more and more as we move into the summer. So there was a few parts there where we ran out of energy by late in the evening and had to pull from the grid for the last few hours before the day rolled over. That should start to happen less and less now as the days are getting longer. It means we don't start eating into the battery until the sun has set. So what we have got stored will eventually be enough to make it through the rest of the day. But I am intending on buying a new battery for my modular system soon. And so next winter, hopefully that will make a difference in those scenarios, and we should be able to run entirely off batteries and only pull power during the low rate night time. So the total amount of energy we used in February, we generated 43% of that ourselves, and we took the other 57% from the grid. Compare that to January and you can see that it was 81% of the energy we required coming from the grid and only 18% of it being generated ourselves. Again, you'd expect this as the days are getting longer and we're generating more energy from the solar. Well, last month I did say that I would have the ability to track how much energy went into gaming, and I've got that data now, so let's take a look at that. So this pie chart shows a breakdown of where all the power went for February. You see that 20% of it went into the Nissan Leaf, a small amount went into the PHEV, it's because I'm not using that much at the moment. A little bit went into the immersion because we had a few days where it was really sunny, so there was a bit spare to go diverted into the hot water. 6% of that was just keeping hot water in the urn going for tea and coffee. We used a bit in the dishwasher, and then here's the big one. Look at that, 13.5% of all of our power went on gaming. Now, what does that work out at? Well, that's nearly 100 kilowatt hours. I thought it would be quite a bit, but I guess I wasn't ready for just how much. That's quite a lot. Teenage boys, what are you going to do? Yeah, and 315 kilowatt hours went on other things. So that will be things like the lights, the fridge, the freezer, the oven, the toaster, the microwave, all those sort of things. They're not tracked separately. Well, that's it for this month. I hope you found that interesting. If there's any other ways you'd like me to break my data down, any other graphs you'd like to see, please leave a comment in the comment box below and I'll look at it for the next video. Please do share this video, like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. For the next video. Please like and share and subscribe to my channel, and if you have been, thanks for watching. No, don't say that.